the living shit out of the Indiana Fever. So Indiana Fever, and it's been my belief that they will freaking fire everyone. And I do believe this. So if you're a Fever fan and you're hoping they'll keep Caitlin Clark, it's my belief that when push comes to shove, there's no way they can let her get away. They will fire everybody and start over. That's my belief. I cannot imagine the level of fumbling the bag that would have to be done.
What you just heard highlights the WNBA's biggest misstep this season, attempting to ride the Caitlin Clark phenomenon while actively fumbling her on-court integration. Like I've warned on this channel for weeks, the league and certain teams thought they had a marketing slam dunk. Instead, they've tossed an airball straight into a PR firestorm. And trust me, when you hear what actual fans are saying, the Fever's front office needs to brace for impact. Clark's already banked $60,000, proving her value, but the real story is much deeper than endorsement.
Everything. She's changed the dynamic and history forever for women.
I see a lot of young girls here today, and I see how inspired they are, and she's even gotten me back into basketball.
I think she has brought attention. She did it for us. We had never watched, and we have become big fans.
I don't think her contributions have been extreme as what people think they are. I think the league in itself has been getting better, and that's really what we should be focusing on.
I think she's brought a lot of attention to the WNBA, and it's needed.
I think it's great. I actually grew up watching the WNBA, so it's really exciting to see a resurgence.
That sentiment you just heard, if she leaves the Fever, I'm gone too, isn't just fan chatter. It's a full-blown declaration. As I've consistently argued, Caitlin Clark isn't just playing in the WNBA for a massive new viewership, she is the WNBA. These are fans who barely knew the league existed 6 months ago. Based on my insights and fan analytics, Indiana isn't just dealing with a player, they're facing a potential custody battle for half the league's burgeoning fan base. This isn't just a threat, it's a quantifiable shift.
And there's enough votes here. This is a good test to see how bad this would be. Swag put this out, and it's starting to make the rounds. I voted. Okay, Fever fans, answer this. If Caitlin leaves Fever, would you still support the Fever? We got 1,145 votes here. Nope, my bags are packed.
And let me tell you, these aren't your typical casual viewers. These are the diehards, the newly converted, fully immersed in what I've termed the Church of Caitlin. They couldn't care less about team zip codes or legacy colors. For them, Clark is the brand, the entire identity. Her jersey isn't just a uniform, it's a literal GPS. Their loyalty isn't to the Indiana organization, it's exclusively to her. While respect exists for the rest of the roster, that loyalty hierarchy is unmistakable and critical.
All for letting her cook. Me dinner.
I'm buying Powerade stock.
Is it a play on like women shouldn't? No, they didn't do it on purpose. There's no way. How you came up with this and not in the back of your minds like, oh, they're just gonna be like, oh, it's women. She just needs to cook. Didn't think about that in the PR room.
Look, as I've repeatedly emphasized, when it comes down to choosing between a long-standing franchise and the singular phenom who just ignited unprecedented interest, there's no real debate for this new audience. It's Clark or bust. Fever fans, as many of you in our community know, are already sweating this outcome. It's not because Caitlin's underperforming, quite the opposite. She's delivering precisely what she was drafted for, drawing eyes, breaking ratings, packing arenas, and elevating a struggling franchise. The undeniable, shocking problem is that the person seemingly oblivious to this reality is her own coach. This is where it gets truly concerning.
Listen, NBA players make 50% of revenues. WNBA players make 9%. And now the merch sales are up 500% and attendance is up, 40%. So they're going to get a raise. There's no question. And I don't really care that the previous 25 years they didn't make a lot of money or lost money. I don't care. They're in the middle of a negotiation and they're on a heater. So it doesn't really matter. I've said this before. I made an investment for 5 years and it lost money. And I got about 6 months left in the investment. And in the last 6 months, they started making cash. I'm not bailing on the investment. I want to finally get my money back. So they're going to get a raise. They're finally turning a corner. But and negotiating in any business is all about current momentum. It's not about 12 years ago. It's about current momentum.
What we're witnessing isn't empowerment, it's a baffling suppression. The game plan, as I've analyzed extensively in my breakdowns, consistently sidelines her impact despite the team's ongoing ugly losses. And after every frustrating defeat, we see the same perplexing post-game dynamic. A veteran player struggles immensely, shooting 2 for 14, yet gets endless encouragement. Clark takes one contested shot in a crucial moment, and it's an instant lecture. This isn't coaching, it's a bizarre form of performance art. Fans aren't blind, they're recognizing a slow-motion sabotage of the very reason they invested in tickets. The message is clear, echoing across every platform. If Caitlyn leaves, we leave too.
Clark is a media driver. She is a ratings driver. I think about the NBA post Magic and Larry, the NBA post Michael Jordan, tennis post Serena Williams, golf post Tiger Woods, right? There are certain athletes that drive the sport more than others. And that's not to take away from anyone else drafted tonight. That's not to take away from the other incredible superstars in the WNBA right now.
This isn't mere fandom, it's a full-scale migration, with Caitlyn Clark as the monarch butterfly. As I've always explained, these supporters aren't packing Fever merchandise, they're carrying portable allegiance. They honestly don't care if she ends up in New York, Las Vegas, or the Bermuda Triangle. If CC is on that roster, they're all in. This isn't a fleeting trend, it's a profound, terrifying phenomenon for the Fever's management. Fans aren't being dramatic, they're simply stating fact. Clark alone gave the WNBA this unprecedented window of opportunity. It wasn't the league's marketing or slick promos, it was one player's transcendent talent and charisma. She made women's basketball must-see TV. Now imagine deliberately benching. It's like finding a gold mine and then paving it over for a strip mall. It makes zero sense, and the investors, not to mention the fans, are furious. And yes, people respect the rest of the team, but that's entirely separate from this core issue.
So the t-shirts don't bother me. But why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlyn Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private. Okay, if you're in a band and you're staying at the Motel 6 and you add a band member and now you're at the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself.
And here's the worst part, and it's something I've been tracking closely. It's starting to feel intentional. There's this twisted, unspoken logic playing out behind the scenes. Keep the rookie humble. Don't let her overshadow the veterans, even if those veterans are shooting abysmal percentages. Meanwhile, our community is screaming, just let her cook. Yet, every time she gets hot, someone pulls the plug. This, combined with visible awkwardness, tense press conferences, and baffling late-game decisions, has transformed her loyal fan base into an angry one. They feel misled, sold a false promise. You cannot hype a superstar to every major brand, then treat her like a glorified decoy on the court. That's not strategy, it's deliberate, slow-motion sabotage. And if she leaves, the WNBA faces a fan exodus on a scale unseen since streaming services decimated cable TV viewership. One day, record numbers, the next, cricket.
At age 23, I'm going to pass on that question, actually. WNBA star Caitlyn Clark is transforming women's sports. She fills arenas night after night, and her games have smashed TV viewership records. And if you watch Clark play, well, it's not hard to figure out why. She makes deep three-pointers look easy. And like all stars, wants the ball when the game is on the line.
And let me be clear, this isn't just talk. These fans aren't bluffing. My sources confirm they've already started scouting other cities. They have maps, group chats, even rental apps open for Phoenix or Las Vegas. Just in case, there are Caitlyn Clark watch parties being planned in states she doesn't even play in yet, solely due to trade speculation. This fan base isn't tied to a logo. They're tied to a legacy. They didn't fall in love with Indiana. Most didn't even know what a Fever was 6 months ago. This isn't mere fandom, it's a hostage situation. Fever management had one job: do not screw this up. Yet, here we are, witnessing what appears to be a deliberate attempt to break the very thing working. Clark fans didn't come this far to be ignored or watch her reduced to a glorified ball shuttler. So yes, when they say they'll leave if she does, believe them. For them, Clark isn't just a player, she's the entire product, the ecosystem. Remove her from Indiana and that team reverts to obscurity. Place her anywhere else and that city becomes the WNBA's new epicenter.
Right. And I think it's like something where if you are a star in the WNBA, like Caitlin Clark, she's probably one of the few people that anybody you can mention to somebody that knows sports will know Caitlin Clark. Yeah. She's getting a ton of deals. Coke, Gatorade, you name Nike deals. Now, I know a lot of the other players, like if you're the 12th person on the team, you're probably not making that much money, but I just feel like coming out like this, what are they going to bargain with? What is their like thing they're coming with that's going to change their salary? And that's what I was trying to figure out. I couldn't understand because they're already rev sharing. The NBA already gives them money, compensates for the loss they make every year because they lose 50.
Fans aren't being emotional, they're being starkly realistic. They owe the Fever absolutely nothing. They gave the team a chance because of Caitlin, they stayed because of Caitlin, and they will leave if Caitlin doesn't stick around due to this ongoing nonsense. As I've predicted, if she walks, it's not merely a trade, it's an extinction level event. It won't be a fever dream, it will be a full-blown nightmare. Stephanie White's coaching philosophy, as I've analyzed her past tendencies, sounds less like developing a superstar and more like micromanaging her into irrelevance. At this point, it's not even subtext, it's blatant flashing across every press conference. The underlying message, though veiled, feels like Caitlin Clark was never my first choice. Despite the initial smiles and talk of system adjustments, it's clear the season is revealing a conscious effort to mold Caitlin into the quiet, deferential player the old guard might tolerate.
Female bird. She had Van Slugenhagen. I'm offended that y'all have white defensive players guarding me and she put her in the torture chamber. You should have known from her little face that she didn't want this matchup from the beginning. Caitlin reminds me of what Dame does. If anybody ever noticed, her first shot always a three. First quarter, second quarter, third. She sets the distance on her first shot, so you have to guard her there. Now she can do whatever she wants to do. She's playing a chess game. That's what Dame does. He starts his game off, he's gonna shoot a deep ass three to force.
But here's the crucial truth. One subscribers to this channel understand deeply. Caitlin Clark simply isn't built for the back seat. She's not an accessory to some outdated game plan held together by hopeful vibes. She is the engine, the entire vehicle, the very reason the car started in the first place. Yet, game by game, it's visibly apparent Stephanie White is throwing up emotional speed bumps and strategic U-turns, acting more like traffic control than an offensive coordinator. This isn't just about subtle playstyle disagreements anymore. It feels profoundly personal. It's that palpable tension you feel when a corporate mandated guest is forced upon you and you grudgingly host a dinner party, even when that guest is paying the rent, cooking 5-star meals, and still getting told to pass the salt and relax. Let's name it, resistant. From day one, it felt like Stephanie White was gritting her teeth through the Caitlin Clark era. All the high-minded talk about embracing her unique game evaporated. Instead, we're seeing game plans where Clark is inexplicably parked in a corner, while teammates with a perpetual green light clang shots, creating what I've called a WNBA-themed Olive Garden. Endless breadsticks, zero bucket, and when Clark somehow still squeezes out 15 assists, 23 points, and a viral highlight, all while absorbing hits and navigating referee chaos? Silence. No celebration, just another tight-lipped post-game speech about spacing or letting the game come to you.
WNBA before Caitlin Clark and the WNBA after Caitlin Clark. Describe these two worlds.
Oh, entirely different. 180, you know. The WNBA before started in 1997, the year after the Atlanta Olympics, and was launched into a time when women's sports was still not taken seriously by a lot of, people. And some of those same guys now, if we want to talk about before and after, some of those same guys, or guys like them, are the ones buying the 22 jerseys, wearing them to games, Major, but also to the grocery store and to the gas station. Right. It is now cool to be a WNBA fan, and it is cool to love Caitlin Clark and the spotlight that is finally shining on these players.
The fan outcry, "Let her cook," isn't just a slogan, it's a demand based on basic basketball sense. Caitlyn has fans spanning every state, demographic, and generation. Middle schoolers, seasoned basketball lifers, casuals, and diehards. Even those still learning the WNBA exists. She isn't just a player, she's a brand, a revolution. The WNBA's golden goose, laying media engagement eggs faster than the league can even process them. If it were up to the marketing team, she'd have a camera strapped to her head during morning stretches. Yet on the court, her usage sometimes suggests she's a second-round bench warmer, and we're supposed to accept this as normal. Absolutely not. This very dynamic directly impacts, for instance, her contentious Olympic team Snub.
On the night that I broke the news, someone read me the list that Caitlin Clark was not on the Olympic team, which was June 7th. She had just had 30 points and 7 threes against Washington in an amazing game. And bottom line on this is they did not want her on the team. There was either a sense that she needs to wait her turn. They wanted to give Diana Taurasi the going away present. Name another time when you would ever give an athlete the going away present with an Olympic berth. Outrageous. So Caitlin said, hey, it's okay. And in interviews, she said, it's all right, I'll make it the next time. Well, in the book, I have a wonderful anecdote from then.
Stephanie White can recite all the coaching cliches she wants. Stick to the plan. Everyone has a role. Don't skip steps. That's all fine. Until you realize the only step being skipped is allowing Caitlin Clark to be Caitlin Clark. And the absolute irony is, this containment experiment is failing miserably. It's not producing wins, it's generating chaos, confusion, and miscommunications that appear orchestrated by Cirque du Soleil. Meanwhile, the fan base, our community, is in an uproar because they see exactly what's happening. It's basketball 101 combined with common sense. Yet Stephanie White appears hell-bent on running the entire Caitlin Clark experience through a meat grinder of we do things my way.
I was mesmerized by her. And I will tell you this. This was the greatest performance I've ever seen in the NCAA tournament, girl or boy. Greatest performance.
On this biggest stage.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because rarely does a game like this live up to its hype.
Yeah.
Rarely do you have the two superstars play like superstars, because you got to understand the scout report is geared to stop you. All the hype coming into this is going to be people who've never watched a girls' basketball game watched.
And that her way strategy? It would be tolerable if it were producing championships. Instead, it's manufacturing late-game meltdowns and, crucially, fan-base meltdowns, often simultaneously. So here we are, mid-season, and the narrative is unequivocally clear. Clark didn't walk into a team prepared to elevate her. Fortunately, she's not alone in this fight, because as I've argued since her draft, Caitlin Clark isn't just another player. She's a movement, and movements don't sit quietly. They don't politely wait for permission to shine. They take over. They explode through resistance like a viral highlight reel dunk. If the Fever doesn't wake up and fast, they'll become a sad trivia question, not a dynasty. Yes, it's quite possible Stephanie White never truly wanted Caitlin Clark. Maybe she desired someone easier to mold, coach, or simply ignore. But tough luck, she got a phenom, a lightning bolt in high tops. And no amount of stubborn game plans will stop what's undeniably coming. Caitlin Clark isn't waiting for a green light anymore. She is the light. The pressing question now is, will the Fever continue to dim it, or will they finally, mercifully let it shine?